ready. He's ready. We're going to the car. Are you all buckled in? Where are we going? Try this slide. See what's going on with this slide. Hey, 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 it's taking off. One good thing to note is the iPhone 12 shoots in 4K 24 frames per second on the selfie camera, but the iPhone 8 I'm seeing only shoots in 1080 and 30 frames per second. So that is one kind of key thing to take away if you are indeed in the search for a good kind of vlogging camera, and you still want kind of the best quality or whatever. 1080p 30 is excellent, but 4K 24 is even better. So obviously shooting at that 24 frames per second. Either way, man, this is a good representation of what the selfie cameras look like with the iPhone 8 over here, and over here I got the iPhone 12. Also, I am not using any type of microphone or anything. This is just flat out what the iPhones are picking up on their front facing microphones or whatever, but this is what it sounds like with the audio coming straight out of the iPhones. This is the 8. This, god damn it. Dynamic range test, sun in the background. Also, you guys can check out the stability, see what it looks like. Dynamic range test, sun in the background. Also, you guys can check out the stability, see what it looks like. All right, so this is what it looks like with the auto settings turned off, or auto exposure turned off on the iPhone 8 and 12 using the selfie camera. And I just wanted to see, like, in harsh daylight environments, what does this camera look like? So for one, I could barely kind of see the screen on the iPhone 8 just for starters. And so that, I don't know, man, I guess that's telling me that the iPhone 12 is a little brighter in harsh daylight. So I can actually see myself on the iPhone 12, but on the iPhone 8, I can like barely see it, man. And on the iPhone 12, I'm confused. Hold on, I'm confused. What phone is what? Okay, this is the 8. But now when it comes to just the selfie camera, iPhone 12 looks a whole lot better than the iPhone 8. So when shooting content on the iPhone versus the FiLMiC Pro app, is there like a considerable difference between, you know, the in-camera app and FiLMiC Pro that'll make you want to like, yo, I need to shoot with FiLMiC Pro, or like, I don't really need FiLMiC Pro, I'm gonna use the camera app? I'll let you guys decide that, man. Here's what it looks like, you know what I'm saying, just with the camera app. Obviously you're shooting in 10-bit HDR, Dolby Vision. So, I mean, this is what it looks like in 10-bit HDR. Obviously, if you don't have an HDR monitor, you're not gonna be able to see like the full clouds and all that stuff or whatever, but this is what it looks like just in camera app, and this is what log V3 looks like on FiLMiC Pro. So right now we'll just stay in log V3 for the time being on FiLMiC Pro, and it's kind of windy out here. I didn't bring my wind protector. See if this works here. Okay, so just a few questions I want to answer for some of you guys that answered some or asked some questions on the last video, and that's, okay, can FiLMiC Pro shoot in 10-bit HDR? Yes, it can. However, you cannot shoot in vlog or in slow motion, unfortunately. Now, I don't know why, but if I was to turn my iPhone app on, like the in-camera app, I can shoot in 10-bit HDR. Obviously can't shoot in log, and it's about to rain, you know. Whoa, 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 what is going on out here? If I was to turn on my iPhone 12, I can shoot in 10-bit HDR in slow motion. If the iPhone 12 Pro Max can on FiLMiC Pro, or not? So if I can shoot in 10-bit HDR on the iPhone 12, why can't I shoot in 10-bit HDR using the FiLMiC Pro app in slow motion? I don't know why I can do it on my regular iPhone 12 app. So maybe there'll be some updates, you know, I could imagine there'll be some updates here in the near future. All right, so the second question is, can FiLMiC shoot slow-mo HDR 10-bit? I think I just covered that. And no, it can't, unfortunately. All right, so in FiLMiC, 10-bit HDR, cannot shoot slow-mo, cannot shoot in log, unfortunately. If you're gonna shoot in just 10-bit on the FiLMiC Pro app, obviously not using HDR, you cannot shoot slow-mo, and you can shoot in log, obviously. So in-app, iPhone 12, just regular native app, you can shoot 10-bit HDR in slow motion, 4K up to 60 frames per second. Now, in addition to that, FiLMiC Pro, even if you pull up, like if I was to switch it over into Dolby Vision, you know, 10-bit HDR, there, and you have it in 60 frames per second, there's like a disclaimer that pops up that says you cannot shoot anything higher than 60 frames per second in 4K using Dolby Vision 10-bit. And in order to shoot in 60 frames per second or higher using Dolby Vision 10-bit, then you would have to downgrade the resolution to 1080. Now, obviously seeing that disclaimer, I went ahead and see if it was possible. You know, I downgraded the resolution down to 1080 and you still can only shoot up to 30 frames per second. So I'm not sure if that's just a bug or whether or not they're gonna upgrade that here in the near future, but that is something to keep in mind if you are indeed wanting to shoot slow motion in 10-bit HDR or Dolby Vision or whatever it's called. So that basically wraps up this video, guys. If there's any other further questions concerning any of the bit rates or resolutions needed in order to shoot slow motion or to shoot in vlog using the FiLMiC Pro app, go ahead and leave a comment down below. I'll be sure to check that out and try to leave an answer for y'all if I do have the answer to it. And my overall take, whether or not, you know, I feel that FiLMiC Pro is kind of worth it to use. I think it is worth it, considering you are gonna have that extra dynamic range using FiLMiC Pro, that extra step of applying the LUT from the FiLMiC Pro website that I talked about in a previous video. I'll go ahead and link that down below. But if you just check out that LUT, man, literally drag and drop it onto this footage that you shot in Vlog 3 on the iPhone 12. It doesn't really like disrupt my workflow a whole lot, so I'm definitely gonna be using that instead of the iPhone 12 in-camera app. So that's about all for this video, guys. I appreciate you guys stopping in, checking this out. If you got any value out of this video, don't forget to drop me a like. And if you like content like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Until then, I'll see y'all in my next video, man. Peace out.
Rebel soul child got a fist balled. I'm a respawn of ancestors and I'm blessed, They are not him, tell him fess up. I get check stub, hella carefree, nothing scares me, hella reckless. Yeah, I got next up, right? No, we not the same, cause see when I look in your iris, you likely to talk but not ready to ride. You do better keeping it quiet. My pen is ignited, my soul is enlightened. I like who I am, but I'm biased. They palette is right, and my drip is a fountain. I'm not like these regular guys. All of that talk is misguided. She like the way I make the tape print, but the way I make the words play is grim. I'm the reaper reaching for the kill switch. The label cut the check like the bladesman. Something sparking where his brain is. The beat is somewhere where they prayers in. Geronimo, the way I make the bass jump when no parachute is tasteless. They likely to run their mouth, but when they see you face to face, they quick with the shape shift. Up through the night, work the grave shift. Batted from the cradle to the grave, bitch. Big mad how they face tense. Look both ways for you catch fade. I'm a nice guy on the inside, still I'm not somebody to be played with. Keep it all the way 1,000. I don't remember how the ground feels. I left the city, I've been browsing, treading water that they drowning. My head on the swivel, yeah. It's only really my surroundings. They keep it all the way 1,000. I don't remember how the ground feels. I left the city, I've been browsing, treading water that they drowning. My head on the swivel.